ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Collider Body Slam Raw Recap. Holy mackerel, I'm John Rocha. We had to psych ourselves up to be in here today because that was terrible, and we're going to talk about it. My man, the CEO of Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Satin, you are back from a extended break for Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, I didn't take too much of a break away.
I mean, it was 3 weeks. No, I'm joking.
But yeah, no, I feel refreshed. I was excited to get back into the flow of things yesterday, and then I had to watch Raw. And man, we tried to be positive on here, but we were both like, man, this is going to be a rough one. Like, we try our best, but there's only so many excuses you can make for things, and this is going to be a tough one to make excuses for because this episode was very hard to get through. It almost felt like I wasn't the only one who took a day or two off to myself.
Yeah.
It felt like so did Vince McMahon when it came to planning this episode because, man, I mean, last week wasn't great.
No.
But this one was just like, I think like last week was one of those ones where you're like, it wasn't bad. It was bad, but whatever, you know. This one was one of those ones where you're just like, what was like what? Yeah. Who did someone write this, or did they just wing it, or like what was going on? Right. You know. And I'm on cup of coffee number 2 myself here because I also needed to get psyched up to talk about this episode because it was a chore to get through.
Yeah, and that's a shame. A 3-hour show should not be a chore to get through, for God's sakes. With the plethora, do you say plethora? With the wealth of talent that they have there in that Raw locker room, these storylines, this whole promotion at this point, the booking is just super frustrating to watch. Why in God's name is Baron Corbin getting this much time? He couldn't get this much time as a wrestler on the show. He couldn't get this much. He wasn't anywhere near over as a wrestler. Why in God's name do you think he's going to be over as this general manager elect or whatever they want to say? And then you throw in Alexa Bliss and this weird kind of sexual thing going on with that, like inference of flirting or whatever. That was so strange. But you start off the show with Baron Corbin, and once again, the fans have said it quite loudly that they're so sick of Corbin. And then you give him another show where he is the main focus throughout the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's so basically the focal point of Raw at this point. And that's
why?
Wild. Who wants Baron Corbin to
Angle
be the
didn't have
focal
this
point
much time on Raw when he was the GM.
Or this much like when Angle was GM, he was made to be this like dopey ho-hum. Like, even though we all know he's an Olympic legend, he's a wrestling legend,
obviously,
he's one of the best wrestlers of all time. And he didn't get that much. The only time he got really that much, you know, of a storyline and all that kind of stuff was when they did the fake kid storyline, with Jason Jordan. So, or I guess, you know, his quote biological son storyline. But yeah, and look, I want to say like there's a whole team of people. What happened? But we all know at the end of the day, like it all boils down to one person. Like I was talking to someone last night who said, like, God, like, you know, why wouldn't they just let you and I get in there and just, like, we could do better? And I go, like, well, to be fair, they're not letting the creative team who they have in place do their job for the most part either, usually from what you hear. And that, and, you know, I don't have any insight like, specifically to last night's episode, but for the most part, it boils down to what Vince McMahon wants. And obviously those people help with ideas and the creative team. But at the end of the day, it's all Vince. It's Vince McMahon, you know? It's Vince McMahon's vision. So I said to the person, like, well, yeah, but so could the creative team that they have in place if they were allowed to just kind of take the gloves off and put on a creative show that they would like. I guarantee you we wouldn't see a shitty episode like this.
Or Corbin.
Or Corbin necessarily. And we'll be able to pick apart each thing little by little here as we go along throughout the episode. But and I think at the end I kind of want to, because I saw a tweet from Matt Kuhn who has a few shows, and he kind of posed a good point of like, or not a good point, but raised the question of like, okay, constructive criticism time.
Yeah.
What could be done to make the show better, you know? And so I want to touch upon that
as we go through.
At the end.
Sure.
No, I think at the end, it'll
okay.
be a good thing to talk about of like a wrap-up of like, once we finish wading through all this crap, this manure of a show that we're going to have to get through, let's talk about constructive criticism at the end, I think. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll do it piece by piece, obviously, but I think I kind of want to, as a whole, think of like, what the main things that we're annoyed by, and I think you can think of that as we go along.
I think that's a fair request to have. I want to make it constructive because sitting around listening to people bitch about it isn't that exciting. Sitting people bitch about it with logic and reason and then offering possible solutions, that's what a recap is for, and that's what we're going to do. Baron Corbin starts to show off here in the ring. As we mentioned, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Lio Rush are out there talking about how great they are. I guess this is the new corporation. It just feels like that. It's, in a way, if you remember the corporation from way back in the early 2000s, it seems like this is what they're setting up here, and then they show the video montage of them beating up Strowman and his arm and all the blood and all that kind of jazz. It feels less
like the corporation to me, and more like this new like. I don't want to say alt-right because that's not the right word.
Oh,
that's not the right word. That's not the right word. But I'm not that's the word. Like the people who use the word snowflake type person. Like that's the vibe I get from that I really got from this promo. And I'm trying to think of the right word for someone like that. I don't want to say like Trump supporter because there's more people besides Trump supporters that like to use that word now. But you know what I mean? Like there's someone who like because I mean they had Bobby Lashley say like the beta males, and then
sitting on their butts.
Yeah, and I forget what the other one. I think it was Drew McIntyre who said something about some kind of millennial speak. I forget exactly what he said.
Yeah, what's going on now with the attacking the millennials thing?
I don't
what's happening there? The avocado toast now, and this is all coming from Vince and the creative people.
I was just gonna
so
say,
is Vince working some shit out through these people about the commentary on society?
I was just gonna say that. Like, I really thought the same thing while watching this episode. I was going like, is Vince speaking too much through the words that he's writing? Because, like, as someone who's written a script before, like, I remember one time I wrote a script and, when I finished it, I gave it to my dad and he was like, he read it and was like, Ryan, writing a script isn't necessarily therapy. Like, you don't need to, like, work out your issues in your personal life in the script you write. Like, it doesn't have to be that close to what you've gone through. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Right.
But when I was watching, I was thinking like the beta male thing, or Vince saying everyone's disgusting with the Dean Ambrose thing, and saying that he doesn't want to, the smell and the grossness of everyone, the germs in the air. And we all know Vince is like a germaphobe type person. So I was thinking the same thing while watching this. I was going like, is Vince working some shit out to himself right now? Is that why this has been less entertaining to watch lately?
Yeah, but I will say this, one of the highlights, and I will point out the highlights as we go through. When that thing went dark and Corbin was like, what happened to the lights and blah, 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 then you see Elias there at the end of the ramp with the darkness and almost a little bit of the Bray Wyatt kind of vibe to it. I really enjoyed that. His song was funny. The Bobby Lashley suck stuff was funny. So in that way, at least it served to promote Elias even more so as a face. He's already over. You don't need these kind of sketches or antics to make it happen, but it was nice to see him come in that moment and kind of take the spotlight.
Do you think that Elias is tied with Seth Rollins for most over babyface on Raw right now?
Ooh. I would say Rollins is still in the lead at this point because he's been doing it longer in terms of babyface, but certainly right now the pop is loud.
Yeah, Elias gets giant pops.
I mean, that walk with Elias was yelled.
Oh yeah,
by the people in the stands. So that's a positive.
I also like the Braun Strowman segment too. I like when. Excuse me. I like when. To a certain degree, I like when WWE blends reality with fiction, and I think they did a really good job of that here. Of having
so what's the deal with Strowman?
It's totally legit.
It's a legit injury. That whole bruise is real?
Very real.
Wow. What happened?
We reported on the site last week, but the holiday happens, and you were out. You were out. Yeah, you were eating turkey.
I was with my girlfriend in love eating turkey, all right?
I was with my girlfriend in love eating turkey.
I was meeting her family.
For some reason, when you say that, I picture that SNL skit, My Lover, where they're eating like in the tub, eating turkey and like chicken or whatever, rubbing grease on each other. I was in love eating turkey.
Meeting my girlfriend's family, extended family. That was an interesting experience. So I didn't have time to read this. So what happened? Did he hurt it like during a match? Oh, something breaking?
No.
Okay. Here we go.
No. That's not important. Okay. Totally legit. Excuse me, sorry, that message threw me off a little bit. So he aggravated. He has bone spurs in his elbow, and he needs to have surgery for them.
Oh shit!
Apparently he'd had it prior, but it was not as serious. And I think like it wasn't necessarily something that was like it was something he needed to get done, but not necessarily something that he like had to get done right away.
Right.
And with Roman going out, going away because of leukemia, because of his battle with leukemia, and other factors, I think that it was kind of like, well, let's see what happens with, let's see if it kind of like fixes itself. But from what I've heard, at Survivor Series, it got re-aggravated, and it was basically like, hey, you should probably get this done now, because if not, then we're not going to have you for WrestleMania if it acts up, if it continues and flares up. Then so get it done now. You'll be out for a month. From what I've heard, it's basically like a month. But I mean, it could be. From what I'd heard was anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks. So that's why I've kind of said around 4 months, around 4 weeks, because I've heard different things from different sources. But I believe it's like around 4 weeks. Okay. So it really just depends on how quickly he recovers. From what I heard, he was getting the surgery done last week. So it's possible they filmed this, obviously, right before the surgery last week, and then, edited it so it was ready for... So it was ready for Raw tonight, or last night. But, so I think that's also why during this segment, it was left up in the air as to whether the match is going to happen at TLC or not, because I don't think they for sure know yet. And so I think that's kind of why it's kind of like a touch and go situation.
Well, his trash talking was great.
It really was. I love Braun, dude.
Yeah, Braun's great.
Braun's like an imposing menace. I even liked him selling the injury during his promo. It felt very like Hulk Hogan-esque to a certain degree, where he was like
a great reference.
Trying to do like his like thing, and he like because he's so tough, he wanted to do it anyways, but he couldn't. And I don't know, I get real Hulk Hogan vibes from Braun Strowman, and minus the other stuff, the controversial aspects of things, but yeah, it's like the vibe I get. He's got huge arms. Yeah. He's like an imposing figure. Yeah. He's also lovable and like a guy you want to cheer for. So I think that he's someone who should be the focal point of the show. So I think it was done really well. Like from the hospital, it was like he's gonna overcome these 3 bad guys, and I really think the vibe of this episode, was like, who's gonna stop these monsters? Right. We have these villains that are just running amok now, and this guy who's gonna basically have control of the show is helping them. He's fucking everything up. Like, who's gonna stop them? And I don't know if they're safe, if they're doing that so that the return of Braun Strowman is that more triumphant, or if they have something else in mind in the few weeks leading up to that. Because if not, it's gonna be a lot of bad guys beating up good guys, and there's not a lot of good guys to beat up. So I don't. It's gonna be weird. It doesn't sound the most interesting thing.
And this is Vince's wet dream, right? You have a huge Lashley, a huge McIntyre, a huge Corbin in terms of size and height. And then you have little Hornswoggle, which is essentially Leo Rush. Call him. And I love what Elias said, that Child Protective Services thing. That was really funny. So you have this going on. Then Corbin or Lashley and Elias went at it. I thought it was a good match for what it was. I'm a champion of Lashley. I want him to get better and better in the ring. I enjoyed this match for what it was. Lashley doing that kind of runaround thing was a great move by him. But then Elias ended up losing, which was a surprise to me. I thought it would be another situation, but I guess they're trying to enforce, because they called the match initially for DQ. Then Corbin said, I didn't get a chance to finish. It's a no DQ. And it went the way it went. So what you said, I think, is an interesting point, Ryan. It's who's going to stop these guys, right? Rollins is detained doing other things. There's not really another heel, because you got AOP. They're not really faces. So there's no face just lying around there, or a faction of faces lying around there that's going to come together and kind of stop this from happening. So I wonder, as we go forward, who is going to join Elias? Who's going to walk with Elias against these guys?
My only guess, and this is purely a guess, is I could see Kevin Owens fitting that role.
Ooh, wow.
Is Kevin Owens, we need...
With Sammy?
Maybe, I don't know how far along Sammy's injury is.
Yeah.
But I don't know how serious Kevin Owens... I mean, obviously he had double knee surgery, so it's serious.
Yeah.
But I've heard that he might, and this is not like a for sure confirmed thing, but I have heard like rumblings that he might be on the way back soon.
Wow.
I'm not positive of that, but this is what I heard from like one source. And I could see like with the landscape as it is right now, like there are so many heels on Smackdown. I'm sorry, on Raw right now.
Right.
The inclusion of another is not necessary.
Yeah.
And the one thing we haven't really had, and this is what we said back when Kevin Owens did his whole quitting thing that we thought they were gonna do.
Oh yeah.
Is keep him off TV for a little bit so it feels fresh and bring him back with a monster face run as an anti-hero face. Look at what it's done for Becky Lynch. Look at what they're doing for Daniel Bryan.
Right.
these things are helping people, and I could really see that happening here. You know, that would make the most sense to me is that Kevin Owens comes back and he's the one. Like and then, you know, after all that time of his battles with Braun, when Braun comes back, he can even like now be on the other side of it as like Braun now respects Owens and they're the two faces kind of like battling the other side.
Even if Reigns comes back from the leukemia, that's a possibility as well. Then you've got Braun, Strowman, Reigns, Kevin Owens, and Elias against these guys.
Although I'm not factoring that happening anytime soon.
Right. Of course. We got stuff going on there. All right, let's move on. The Lucha House Party took on the Revival. Lucha House Party rules. I need to have a conversation with you, Ryan Satin, Latino to Latino.
Oh my God, I'm so happy you're going to say this. I'm glad we're on the same page here.
Look, the luchadors, I get it. Nothing's off limit in the world of luchadors, making fun of themselves, playful, doing the things they're doing. When you're in the world of the luchador, which is all Mexicans, all there in one place, or all Latinos there in one place, doing what they're doing, and occasionally Lita sliding in other, people. But that's under a Mexican. When you go to the WWE, this is a white-owned company, white-faced company. This is majority white people in this company. To have them walk out with piñatas, man, this to me felt like crime time right now. Their lawnmowers or their bikes,
or Mexicools.
I'm sorry, with the lawnmowers and the crime time with their bikes. I don't care what you call that damn piñata to make it cute and sell it. It's super racist and frustrating. So for me personally, it just frustrates the hell out of me. I'm not trying to be no SJW. I'm just angry about it.
No,
they don't need it.
I don't think I'm necessarily like angry about it, but I swear to God, last week in LA when they all had the piñatas, and look, I'll be honest, like I don't. If there are weeks I'm not able to watch 205 Live, so I think they have been doing it for a while. I don't care. I was just thinking to myself, when they came out on Raw.
Well, I don't watch 205 Live, and I shouldn't have to.
And when they all came out last week with the piñatas in LA, I thought to myself, is this something they always do? Like, they all carry it? And then as it went on, I said, man, they've had Grand Metalik in the company for this long.
Yeah.
And it took him carrying a piñata to the ring for them to finally give him a chance on Raw. I was like, that fucking sucks, dude. Like, he's such a huge talent. Yeah. He is so entertaining. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I get it. It's entertainment. But I was like, really? Like, I just thought it was like that. It was like that SNL skit, really. Yeah. Where I was just like watching that, like, really? Like, that's. There's just so many really questions that came to my mind while watching it.
Yeah, and it frustrates the hell out of it because you don't see that going on. You don't see what do you call it? Well, maybe we'll talk to it a little, but you don't see typically white things, stereotypical white things or racist white things being done in that way in the company.
I mean, to a certain degree, but like, man,
do you see someone walking around with a pole up their butt or walking around with the full season of Friends in their arms when they're walking out? Like that kind of stuff. You don't see that kind of stuff with their Starbucks.
I mean,
why don't you have someone coming out like that?
That is, I wouldn't.
I'm trying here. I'm just trying to make it
I wouldn't put those stereotypes past Vince from doing those things.
Right.
You know, but I agree with you. I totally agree with you in that. Like, you know, for example, we have like Jack Swagger doing the We the People.
Right.
So it's not like he hasn't gone there with white people to an extreme. But yes, I do agree with you. Like, as a Hispanic dude, I was sitting there thinking like, man, like they probably think this is hilarious. Mm-hmm. And it was like, Mexican people aren't like the Hispanic representation that we're getting on WWE television right now is three guys who walk around with piñatas.
Frustrating.
And yeah, agreed. Like I get that some people say that New Day toe that line as well with certain things, but I've never looked at it that way.
Right.
Well, some people say it's like I've seen like, you know, sites like Pro Wrestling. I'm pretty sure it's Wade Keller who goes on and on about it. How the pancakes have like a deeper meaning in the past. I'll send you some of the articles on it.
Okay.
I've always thought it was a little bit of a stretch, though.
Okay.
This is much more blatant. You know, like if there were three Asian dudes walking out, three Chinese dudes walking out with Kung Pao chicken and rice in their hands, people would say something.
Or those hats, or the rickshaw, or coming out with the maids tee-hee-heeing, like you would go insane.
Agreed. You know, and so and granted, they're not out there. Well, I was just gonna say, granted, they're not out there in sombreros, but I say that, and then next week they're gonna be out there in giant sombreros.
Right. I won't put it past them. And I get, like you say, and this is why you have to analyze this correctly. It's not a black and white issue, so to speak. It's not like, oh, well, they do it there in their own. Yes, because in the parameters of a luchador company, then yes, that makes sense because everyone is Latino for the most part. Everyone's doing their thing, so it's accepted. Playing around piñatas, do whatever. But when you come to a company that is majorly white owned and operated, and a majority of the people involved are white, that to me is limited thinking. A, B, racist thinking, and C, just stupid, just flat out fucking stupid. And it's frustrating to watch that situation because these three are incredible wrestlers. They shouldn't need three stupid piñatas to put them over. And you don't need it's a shortcut in thinking. It's a cop out. It's a cop out because either Vince or the creative people behind these guys can't get them to another level without it.
Racism aside,
yeah.
or racist. I don't want to say racist, but like stereotype aside, stereotypical nature aside.
Yes.
What did you think of the Lucha Rules thing?
Yeah, that was weird to me too because essentially they're cheating. And,
right?
and they're okay, and it's okay to cheat.
Because I saw someone point out, and I forget who it was, so I feel bad. I saw someone point out on Twitter, it was like, well, how come you all are okay with the Lucha Rules during the Lucha House Party match, but you're mad at Baron Corbin at the end of the show for doing the exact same thing?
I think that's a valid point. That's absolutely
why
valid
is one
point.
A heel, one a face? Like, it doesn't really make sense, you know?
Well, and that's what we're seeing, though, right? We've been talking about this over the last few weeks, Ryan, this idea of there's no more faces and heels. And if there's no more...
Not on the main roster,
Not on the main roster, right. So if there's not any more faces and heels on the main roster, then faces can do heel stuff. And heel stuff, when it's done by heels, is negative. But heel stuff done by faces is more a matter of, oh, well, you know, they're owed. That kind of thing. It's that kind of mentality. And I think that's dangerous as well.
Me too, because it makes for like a disconnected narrative, you know?
Yep.
It really does. You know, I think that you're like, well, if everybody is just allowed to do whatever, and there's no real, like, heels and faces, it just gets too muddy.
Yes.
You know, I think that it gets too, like, you know, it's fun to cheer with your fellow wrestling fan for someone. Like, you're all cheering for that underdog. Like, the reason I'm bummed I missed WrestleMania 30 was because I wish I had been part of that crowd when Daniel Bryan finally achieved his big moment. You know? And I did it from home, and I was so elated watching it at home. Such like a positive WrestleMania memory moment, just wrestling moment in my mind. That I was like, I remember I felt like I was there just through the TV, because I was with everybody. It felt like, you know, we were all rooting for the same thing, and it finally happened. Yeah. And I just kind of feel like when it's like, oh, well, just choose whoever you want, it bothers me. It's similar to like why I hate the movie Inception. Like, I hate the movie Inception. My first week here, I mentioned this to Frosty, and I think it's why he still doesn't take me seriously here.
Well, he's got some questionable opinions on films himself, so go ahead.
But, you know, it's one of those things where I liked the movie, you know, but at the end of Inception, I said to myself, like, when the spoiler alert, I guess, for like a 10-year-old movie, but like, the top thing, when the top is spinning and then the movie ends and you're supposed, it's up to interpretation. Like, it is. You're supposed to decide how it ended. No, that is shitty filmmaking that you're making me figure out the end to your stupid movie. Like, you came up with this idea. Tell me if he is in the dream or if he's not in the dream. Okay. Just tell me. Just tell me what happened. You made up this movie. I don't want to like spend the money and then watch it and then come up with my own interpretation. I hate ambiguous endings like that. Okay. So I hated Inception with a passion, and I just so I get frustrated when there's this ambiguous nature of wrestling of the main roster right now. It frustrates me because I'm like, I want to know. I want you as the narrator of this story to tell me what I'm supposed to be watching, like what I'm supposed to be interested in. Like I like that. You know, I don't think that I just like that. You know, that's the fun nature of wrestling. Like, you're creating a story. Yeah. It's not like, well, you create this. It's not a choose your own adventure. Pro wrestling is not a choose your own adventure of like you as the viewer decide. No. Right. It's good guys and bad guys that are like going against each other in this physical combat. And so, yeah, I get frustrated with the ambiguous nature of characters like that.
Yeah, I respect that, absolutely. I can't agree with you on that because I do enjoy that about most movies. But
do you like that, really?
Ambiguous endings I love to pieces.
Really?
If
Why?
they've constructed it so well, because then I can go home and the movie keeps going in my mind. The movie never ends in my mind.
But don't you want the movie to end in your mind?
For most of them, yes. But for some of them that really tackle larger concepts like Inception did.
What larger issue did Inception tackle?
We're doing a Raw recap. If we want to tackle, Inception, that's a whole. We got to unpack that over 2 hours, Ryan. Are you kidding? There's so much involved in that.
Deeper themes in Inception. As Christopher Nolan booked himself into a corner and he didn't know how to get out of it.
Now I just see the division between Ryan and I in this approach. This is awesome. Anyway, all right. Did you like the revival? Like, they're just are they face or heels, man? Who knows? This is just I
like them more than Christopher Nolan. That's for sure,
there
Rocha.
You go, there you go.
No, I did. I like them, but like I said, you can tell that they're just used as like. Yeah. Vince looks at them as like the wrestlers who can just go in there and lose to his more entertaining piñata throwing around, luchadors or whatever. And so, yeah, I mean, it was an entertaining match. The Lucha House Party thing, I think the vibe they were going for is more like lucha rules, because in lucha wrestling, largely from what I've seen in lucha wrestling, and it's this way a lot in like PWG and other indie companies where like the tags are a little less enforced. Obviously for pinfall nature, it's enforced, but they're coming in and out, they're doing lots of stuff, they're like flipping and flopping all over the place, like it's a show. Yeah. So I kind of like them trying to do something a little bit different, but I just don't have faith that it'll be something that they continue on with,
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on. Nia Jax comes out with Tamina. Tamina, in essence, is being used as just like a walk around, a moving statue. Because she said nothing. She walked down with Naya, just stood by Naya. I feel bad for Tamina that she has to cater that, but it's family, so there's respect between them in that way. But Naya leaning into the face crusher thing. Look, this was lame beyond lame. She is nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry, nobody.
See, I disagree on that. Front. She's getting, and you weren't there. Okay, but dude. Oh, she's getting massive boos.
Yeah, but I think people have been waiting to boo her. That's irrelevant. Irrelevant.
I think that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They're like, oh, great, you gave us an excuse to hate you because we've been wanting to hate you, but we've been told we're bad if we hate you because of the body image stuff. Now we can hate you.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah, you're right. Happening. You're right. I think you're 100% right there.
This has nothing to do with the fact that she's legitimate heel. No, people just don't like her, and they don't like her because they don't think she's that good of a wrestler in the ring. They don't think she's that good on the fucking mic, and she really wasn't this time around. And they don't they don't like the product that's being sold to them by Nia Jax. They just don't. And I respect her as a human being separately, trying to make a living, trying to be successful, trying to work here in this business and make your money, stay as long as you can. My job is to look at this and analyze it, and that's my feeling about it overall. She's just not that good. When you look at the other female wrestlers that are in that locker room, not getting the pushes, not getting this screen time, it's frustrating over and over again. And I get that she's the Rock's niece. And look, I love Dwayne Johnson. People know this, but I got to tell it like it is. And to me, it's frustrating to see this over and over again because her promo was terrible. The whole position of the hashtag face crusher or whatever, face breaker, whatever the hell it is, means nothing. It carries no weight. And they're trying to create something out of nothing. And it's frustrating.
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, I will say that I did think that it was a... what's the word I'm looking for?
Contrived?
No, I was going to say a more positive word. I was going to say an effective promo. I think that, she got along, she got the points across that she was probably told to get across. I don't think that it was necessarily a bad promo necessarily. Yeah. And the face breaker thing is getting her massive heat, so I get leaning into it. I hate when anyone says hashtag anything, as a catchphrase. Even when Dolph Ziggler was in the early days of it, doing the hashtag heel stuff, I didn't love it. Although I think I maybe bought one of those shirts, but I quickly got over it. So I didn't hate it. I will say, the Tamina thing I agree with you on. It doesn't really. I mean, they didn't show her much anyways in the promo, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of emotion being evoked there. However, if it's like a thing where Naya's gonna boss Tamina around for 6 months to a year, or whatever, and then finally Tamina snaps and beats her up,
no one's gonna care. Dude.
You don't think? You think even then no one will care?
No. This is not like Miz and Sandow. That was cool. That makes sense.
You could have that same thing with Tamina.
You could have it storyline wise.
Well, to be fair,
no
Sandow was someone
give a shit.
Sandow was someone people really wanted to see a push
people
for.
loved Sandow, and it's still a shame that he's not back in the like whatever he's up to. It's a shame he got moved out eventually. So, but no, I think no one's gonna care. This is one of these boring lower card feuds or whatever that's not gonna work itself. Yeah, she's gonna fight Rousey. Nobody gives a shit. Rousey will kill her. Who cares?
My only positive light out of all this is that I do. It's clear that they are building towards women tag team titles.
Yes.
I mean, Bayley and Tasha using the hashtag on Twitter. And it feels like they made the conscious decision to wait until they have properly built up a bunch of teams. So I like that they're at least making Naya and Tamina this team to be not to be messed with. I like that.
The female AOP.
I like that.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I do like that to a certain degree because I was just complaining about there not being, clear-cut faces and heels, and Naya is a clear-cut heel right now. Like I don't think now at this point there's no gray area at all with Naya. Everyone's booing the crap out of her. She's not trying to play it up that she's face at all.
Right.
So I at least like that. And I was also happy with the fact that Milwaukee was much more in line with the rest of the world, it feels like, when it came to Ronda Rousey coming out. Because they cheered the hell out of Ronda Rousey. And you could even tell, like, she was like, you could see this relief come across her face, like, oh, okay, it was just like a smarky crowd, like, thank God, because like they cheered her when she came out, they like said they cheered her positively when she was in the ring, and she even did like, oh, thanks guys, thank you. She had that like moment where I was like, oh, thank God, that was just last week, whew, So I was happy in that regard. I don't know if the promo was necessarily as strong as strong.
They were both terrible. I'm sorry. The back and forth between them was terrible because Ronda needs another person who's better than her to carry the promos.
True, that is true.
She does. She's had one or two good promos total since she's come on to the scene, and they were damn good, but they were against really good the Bellas.
Yeah.
And I think I forget who it was, the other one that she had. I think it was Charlotte.
She had a few strong ones,
and so that is good in that way, but when you have the other person who isn't as good as you are, or less, not even close to remotely as good as you are, then she's going to tumble down. And you saw that in this back and forth. Then the whole attack then Natty coming down, and the Riot Squad attacking her from behind, and all that happens there. And her flip, you see the way she flipped Liv. She was careful with Liv.
Yeah,
I think hopefully, for God's sakes, Ronda's finally learning you can't just whip people around; they actually get hurt. And she held Liv a little bit on that swing, and you could see it. So hopefully that in that way, but like overall, it was a useless segment in my opinion.
Well, it's one of those things again where I'm just like, why are they make Natty, and the relationship with Natty and Ronda Rousey is just so funny to me when I watch it. I go like, Natty is always there to help Ronda Rousey, but Ronda's never there when
she's always
Natty's getting ganged up on.
Yeah.
Like she saved her here, obviously at the end. Eventually, but because Natty was saving her.
Right.
It's not like you rarely see Ronda running full speed from the back to come help Natalya when the Riot Squad's beating her up and stuff.
Natty's that lovable friend that you have that just isn't quite smart enough. As the character she's playing, Natty's a person, a different person, obviously. But the character, she's like, I'm going to save her again.
Who's like that?
And
she's
like, what's wrong with you?
She's like that character from Stranger Things who died. With the glasses. What's her name?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
No, season 1. Come on.
Barbara.
There we go. Isn't she kind of like Barbara? She's kind of like
yeah.
And the friend, I forget the main female character's name, but it's that's like the Ronda Rousey. But I didn't think really anything was really gained from this. It was kind of like a filler, nothing really exciting.
Are you excited for this at all, Ronda versus Nia? And I will. And let me say one last thing on this. Yeah, she got a good response in Milwaukee. Okay, so I'm telling you right now.
Wait, you got something against Milwaukee, Rocha?
Screw them Brewers. No. Joking completely. I love Milwaukee. I love Happy Days. No, what is this whole situation though? I think you're going to find, Ryan, much to your chagrin, is the boos are going to be becoming more and more consistent no matter what town she goes to. And I think people
I didn't hear very mixed last night is all I'm saying.
I know last night you didn't, but I'm telling you, piece by piece, like with the booing of Cena, it wasn't like overnight. It was a progression, and the WWE didn't know what to do, and then it became full throat every place they went till eventually Cena was going, "Oh, this is an exciting crowd, excitable crowd."
As long as you make noise,
yeah,
it was that whole thing. Yeah.
And so the same thing's
you
gonna
can
happen to
boo
Ronda.
me, you can cheer me. I gotta know. You're right.
Look, the best thing that ever happened to Ronda was Becky getting punched in the face because Becky they were going to be Becky chants all through Ronda's promos.
They're still going to happen until that match happens.
Yeah, but this would have been even more so.
Smart of Ronda to
let them go, she said.
Well, no, what I was going to say, smart of Ronda on a different note to have kind of have gotten the assistance of Shayna Baszler in her social media battle with Becky Lynch because Shayna got some fire on Twitter so far.
She can talk.
She's been I will say when it comes to the trash talking game on social media,
she's good.
She's been ahead of Ronda Rousey.
Couldn't win Ultimate Fighter, but sure, she's good. She's good.
You had to be a dick.
I'm just saying. No, I love Shayna. I think she's a great heel on NXT.
Yeah, and she was a trailblazer in women's MMA.
She was, and her social media game is strong in that way. When she said, "Don't." What'd she say? Satan, don't drag me into your thing or whatever she said. Don't name drop me or whatever she said. It was really funny.
She said, I'm pulling it up right now. She said, and these were good. Both of these were good. Because Becky said, so first Shayna said, don't try to name drop me in this attention grab.
Yeah, attention grab.
I'm too busy holding down the division that you couldn't. And then Becky said, the only thing that bonds you, Ronnie, and I want to say Mary and Jessica is you all ran from another sport that beat you. So make no mistake, if I chose to drop anything, it would be you, not your name. By the way, give my best to your leader and her hurty mouth. I'm stronger every day. Is she? And Shayna said, I never ran. I got sick of seeing you river dance and decided to come change pro wrestling. You don't learn to drop people by being dropped, homie. Besides, you've got bigger sharks to worry about. I don't care about you. Move along. I love it. The whole social media battle between the two of them it's great. Between the 8 of them, I guess I should say. It's great. The whole four horsewomen versus four horsewomen banter is a pleasant part of my
next
social
level. Yeah, once it gets going.
Yeah,
fully.
I love the social media battle between all of them. It's great.
A thing I don't love is peeing. I don't love peeing. Watching people pee, it's not exciting me. Authors of Pain against Bobby Roode rather, and Chad Gable, and this whole thing going on with this guy pissing himself, and then with Drake rather pissing himself, and then what happened? What is this all about?
First of all, did you see
is this a 10-year-old programming this?
Did you see the report that Drake Maverick did actually pee himself because the Wizinator thing wasn't working? Because you see him messing with his belt.
Oh, shit.
And apparently the Wizinator wasn't working when he was messing with his belt, so he just had to go for it. Pissed himself.
Wow.
That's what everyone... I heard the same thing from a few sources now, that he actually legitimately pissed himself because the Wizinator wasn't working.
I'll be honest with you, that keeps you in a company longer. If you're willing to make that kind of decision in the spur of the moment and you keep the angle going... People who are watching, like Vince, respect that. So
Vince goes, that guy pissed himself for me on television to get this angle over. He's keeping his job for a while.
I signed him to another contract for a year.
Ironclad deal.
Ironclad deal. It's unbreakable. We'll make him Nia Jax's manager.
So, okay, I will say this much.
Oh, God damn it. If you're going to defend this.
No. I like there being some elements of, like, goofy shit.
Goofy shit is fine.
So I didn't
Watching a dude pee in the bathroom is not.
I didn't necessarily... Okay. Potty humor doesn't necessarily bother me like it does others. I will be honest.
There's no potty humor in Inception.
Like I used, like for example, like I used to have a friend when I was much younger, not now.
Oh no, much younger.
Much younger. I swear. I'm not just saying that. I swear, I was much younger. But like just to like mess with me, he would like if he took like a really big poop, he would send me a picture of it just to mess with me, and I'd laugh. I wasn't the kind of person who'd be like, what the F is wrong with that sicko?
Wow.
I'd laugh like, well, there's a crazy snake in your toilet or something like that, you know? So I do have a sense of humor of a child when it comes to that kind of thing sometimes.
Okay.
So I did not hate it, But I do think that it doesn't. I don't think that it helps the authors of pain at all. Like I get that it makes for funny haha moments.
Supposed to be badasses. Why are you?
It's just like it's not like they're having authors of pain pee themselves.
Right.
I think that's the difference. Is that? But I get it. This is like a serious team. Why are you having their manager be
Precious
the Scooby
Paul
thing?
Versus
totally.
Paul
but I'm
Ellering
guessing
versus...
that factors into why they didn't use Precious Paul because Precious Paul was pissing himself on camera for the authors of pain.
What? Do what? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you nuts?
So, while yes, it is silly, while yes, it doesn't help the authors of pain, it does help them in one way.
Yeah.
Getting them on TV more.
I guess so.
So, I that's all. Okay. I will say that much. And look at sometimes I go like, well, that wouldn't actually make me mad. I'd be mad if someone pissed on my expensive robe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily not pay attention to the match at hand.
Right.
Someone like Bobby Roode makes 6 figures.
Can you imagine anyone peeing on Flair's robe? That just wouldn't happen. They would never.
No one's ever messed with a Flair robe in the history of wrestling. I find that hard to believe.
Correct us on this.
I find that hard to believe that there's never
peed on Flair's robe or used Flair's robe to wipe their butt. Maybe. That's the level.
Been someone.
That's the level. Especially down in Georgia Championship Wrestling. Not like they got lines. Not like they got, lines they won't cross in Georgia. I grew up watching Georgia Championship Wrestling. A lot of lines got crossed in that Georgia Championship Wrestling. So.
Yeah, I also, as someone who has to follow wrestling every day, not has to, I choose to.
Right.
As someone who chooses to follow wrestling every day, at least the Drake Maverick P stuff, it has brought funny content onto Twitter and social media and stuff like that. Like Drake posted this video that killed me. It was like a video set to that song "Leave Me Alone" by Michael Jackson, and it was him sitting on a park bench reading his DMs or scrolling through his DMs to show how many people had wrote him about piss in his DMs, and it's like a 4-minute. It's the whole song of "Leave Me."
Wow.
Where he's just scrolling through the whole time, and it cracked me up. Or today, he keeps talking about how he's replying to who was saying he didn't have any balls last night, and he's like, I definitely had balls. That's where the piss came from.
Oh boy.
So those things at least entertain me. I can't help it. The EC3 and Drake posting the piss picture, the piss pants picture together like it's that Adam Sandler movie. No, what's the Adam Sandler movie?
Yeah.
Billy Madison. Yeah, Billy Madison. Yeah. So yes, stupid. Yes, childish. But at the end of the day, there are so many things that are so stupid and so childish that have happened on Monday Night Raw that at the time everyone rolled their eye, stupidest thing ever. But at the end of the day, we look back on it with fondness of okay, well, that was silly and funny, So, right?
I don't know, Ryan.
There aren't any moments like that.
Not that I can recall.
Hand being born.
Hand was the end of everything.
But it was still funny when you look back on it in retrospect, no?
In retrospect, you look back on it and you go, man, what were we thinking? It's more of that. But maybe some people do feel that way about it, going, you know what, that wasn't too funny. That was kind of funny. I don't know. I know when that whole hand was born, everyone was done. Everyone was like, this is the dumbest angle ever. And what a perfect ending to this idiotic angle. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, even the Natalia farting.
Oh,
yeah, stupid.
I hate that, man.
But
yeah,
kind of funny. At the
I
end
guess
of the
so.
day.
I'm weird about that. I don't. And it's maybe my thing. So,
are you kind of like a not potty humor kind of a person?
I'm not. No. How can I say this correctly? I don't mind making sly jokes about it.
Do you get grossed out easily though?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay.
Shit stuff. Oh, I can't handle it.
So if you had a friend send you that picture, you'd be furious.
I wouldn't have that friend anymore. The friendship would be over. I would
you really stop talking to that person?
No. Someone sent me a friend of mine sent me a joke picture of a guy with a 12-inch, 15-inch penis, right?
Okay.
Sitting on the edge of bed, fully naked. Sent it to me, joking around about something. I deleted the tweet, deleted his number, deleted the account, and told him don't. And I emailed him and said, don't ever reach out to me again.
I'm glad he told me that now because I was about to send him a fire picture of a giant dog.
Fire, projectile vomiting all over the place.
Does that mean you've never seen the video? Oh man, there's this great video. I recommend
2 Girls,
it.
1 Cup. I saw that.
No,
never
not
again.
that. That's
scarred for the rest of my life.
No. There's this video. I watched this YouTube channel called Barcroft TV. Highly recommend it to anyone out there.
Oh God.
Where they have the weirdest videos of Just like they're like little mini documentaries, but like weird topics.
Okay.
Adult babies, fetishes, or something like that, or like adult vampire, real life vampires who suck their partner's blood, like stuff like that. And one of them was about this guy. I forget the length, but it's like with like he claims to have the world's largest penis.
Wow.
And like he has it wrapped up, and I forget what country he lives in, but he has it wrapped up.
I could guess a couple. Yeah.
He has it wrapped up in gauze, and like, and it's literally the size of his leg. It's the craziest picture. It's the craziest video interview. And when you find out the reason he has that larger penis, it's not natural and it's not surgery. Oh. It's because when he was younger, he wanted to have a giant penis, so he would attach weights to his penis to try and stretch it out.
Oh.
So in reality, it's not that he has a penis that long. And I'm sorry this is getting graphic. I'm definitely marking this episode as explicit. It's not that his penis is that long. It's that it got like it got stretched. The top got stretched out that long. So it's like hollow. It's a crazy story. You guys got to watch it because he will not admit that happened. And the doctor's like, no, we x-rayed it. It's hollow.
How long does it take to pee? It must take a long time to travel from that.
Yeah.
All the way. Oh,
and he has to unwrap all that gauze. I won't show you the picture because I don't want you to not be my friend anymore, but it's crazy.
He's not drinking 8 glasses of water a day. I know that. Let's move on to something a little less crazy. Ember Moon and Kurt Hawkins taking on Alicia Fox and Jinder Mahal.
What a segue.
This is all so weird. Alicia coming out with the Singh brothers. Apparently, the Singh brothers survived the attack from Strowman.
Yeah. From Brock, right?
From Brock, yeah. So dancing around, doing all the things that they're doing for there. Ember Moon, such a shame she's being wasted in this kind of situation. It doesn't promote the mixed match challenge in any way, shape, or form.
If anything, it's anti-promoting the mixed match challenge. You watch it and you go like, this is what I'm missing on mixed match challenge?
Yeah. No thanks.
Guess I don't have to watch?
Yeah, I'll throw that in the 205 pile. 205 live pile.
Oh.
No offense. It's just not my thing. All right, then Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers took on No Way Jose.
But you go, what?
He's still the company?
Well, okay. All that aside, without being too mean about it, right? You go, okay, still in the yes, I'm sure there are a lot of people that said that when they saw him come out, right? Did. But furthermore, out of all the random people backstage to give a competitive match to against a former world champion, you went with No Way Jose?
Yeah, No Way Jose.
Like there are a lot of options in the back that would that could have made that segment a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what that segment was meant to forward at all.
Mm-hmm. And my fear was that Jinder was going to lose.
I swear to God, I had the same fear.
End of Jinder completely. He's back to jobber status. He's already just above jobber status.
I was so honestly. Yeah. I was in like my head. While watching, I was thinking like, oh, there's got to be a reason for this. I'm like, this is really competitive. This match. I'm like, are they gonna have No Way Jose beat Jinder Mahal? And I was like, okay, no, he's not.
Yeah.
What was the point of this? Yeah. Like this didn't get Jinder Mahal over at all anymore.
Nope.
Didn't get No Way Jose over anymore.
Nope.
It didn't really entertain anybody.
Nope.
It probably entertained Vince McMahon. So I didn't really understand what the point of this segment was. And I just.
And it was a long match.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't like a squash.
Nope.
It wasn't like anything like that. It was like a competitive 10-minute match.
Yeah.
I want to go look. I'm going to pull it up because I know that ProWrestling.net, they always have the match times when they're doing their reviews. I want to see how long it actually was because I was thinking to myself,
longer than the Ember Moon match, that's for sure.
I know. And I thought,
those are two way better wrestlers.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, I'd rather watch Ember Moon versus...
Yeah,
Ember Moon versus what's her face? Way more than the other match, you know, like way more. Or Alicia Fox. Okay, Ember Moon versus Alicia Fox.
Yeah,
way more. I was very confused. Wait, why can't I find Raw live TV review? There we go. Okay, I found it. I'm dying to know how long it went because I was like, I just want to see like in that. Maybe it just felt long. Maybe we're tripping and it just felt long because I was actually wondering that. You know. There's 4 minutes and 25 seconds, not 10 minutes, but still longer. Like how many other like AOP and Bobby Roode was 10 minutes or 8 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes was too long for these guys.
Interminable is what it was.
I guess 4 minutes isn't that long. I guess it just felt like
Depends on what you're doing for those 4 minutes.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll say something. Well, Seth, Dean Ambrose. Maybe another highlight of the night. His promos were great. I liked his promos in the doctor's office and the different things that he was taking to try to not try to get anything from Rollins. I thought that was great. I guess they're jumping in this leukemia thing with both feet. It's a little unsettling.
It's very unsettling.
But like I like it's at least giving Ambrose some good fodder to do promos from. So I like that.
Yeah, I just felt like I was hoping that we were gonna get like Ambrose with an edge. I don't know. It kind of feels like we're getting goofy Ambrose.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know if I laughed, but I just feel like in order for Dean Ambrose to be a viable main event player, like, I don't need him to make me laugh. Like, he's made me laugh for a long time with little goofy things. Like, I want to see scary, mean Dean Ambrose. And so I think that's what a lot of people were hoping that we were going to get when he came back from injury in itself. And then he was put into the Shield, and now it's this. And it's like, I don't know, like, it's weird to see someone getting shots in their ass while cutting a promo.
Yeah,
it was like a little weird. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like weird to me.
Okay.
But I'm also not like a germaphobe, so I would never.
Okay.
I would never like be going to the doctor for weird shots
You're
like that.
You're a germaphobe?
I'm not a germaphobe.
You're not a germaphobe.
Super not a germaphobe. Okay. I haven't been to the doctor forever.
I sleep in shit. No, I've taken shots in the butt, so I know what that's like. So I didn't mind it. I recently just got them for the bronchitis I was fighting off, so it was the worst.
They get shots in your butt for that?
Oh yeah, because the antibiotics have to go through like your whole body, so it's the best way to go. And one on each cheek, so they made sure they distributed evenly through my body. But it worked. It took 24 hours, and I was way better than I was walking to that doctor's office. So it was worth it. So I don't hate on shots in the butt. They can help you. But like I said,
I'm only getting shots in the butt if I need to get butt injections. You know,
oh my God.
Try to get my Kim Kardashian on. You know?
I would like to see those pictures. That Instagram, all of a sudden, you and Bobby Lashley getting your butt shots again. All right, Seth Rollins took on Ziggler in this open challenge in the IC Championship. Went forward there. I thought it was good. Once again, these guys do great work. They're great match, or good match rather. But he ended up beating him by pinfall. Not sure what it accomplished, but at least Ziggler didn't work, staying on screen, whatever. I noticed he was conspicuously absent from the Baron Corbin opening. So where is Ziggler in this whole chain? I don't know. But overall, I thought this was a good match, but I'm not sure what it accomplished.
That's one of the things that's bothered me a little bit in the episode as a whole. Is I felt like sometimes there were things happening where just like there was no explanation for it. Like I think it's not worth doing a whole discussion over, but like Dana Brooke when she came running in.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about in a second.
I'm sorry, we didn't pass
next,
that yet.
Yeah.
Sorry. But, you know, there's like the Dana Brooke or this. So just a little, I don't know. Yeah, it was, I don't know. It's just the Dolph Ziggler thing. It was just kind of like, I want them to tell me why he's not with Braun Strowman, or sorry, with Drew McIntyre if he's not going to be with Drew McIntyre anymore. And maybe the next week it'll be like, oh, welcome back type thing. I don't know. That's possible. It's always possible.
Maybe he'll
that.
Go face.
Maybe
he'll join Elias.
Maybe. But I just, this was one of the things that really bugged me at the show.
Okay. I'm
a huge Dolph Ziggler fan.
Me too, bud.
I don't like to begrudge Dolph Ziggler in a match. It's not that. It's not that I'm down on Dolph Ziggler or think that Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins don't put on great matches.
They do.
You know, or very passable matches to great matches. Like, I'm not saying that at all. It's just like there's a whole roster of people in the back, and, you know, we're going to get to it in a minute, but like there are, you know, Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor, Seth versus Dolph. They're just like matches we've seen so many times. Even Elias versus Lashley we've seen a few times now, I feel like. And it's like, there's a whole roster of people back there. Like, if you had put, there's someone who you could have placed in that position that would have gotten over, that would have gained more from it than Dolph Ziggler did being there. Like, I don't think it advanced any storyline that they're going towards.
Right.
And it would have been like, it would have done wonders for someone like a Kalisto to get a passable match there, or you know, one of the 205 Live guys, you know, to help get 205 Live over for someone like you who's like, I don't want to watch 205 Live, or I just think there's just Heath Slater even, you know, Heath Slater would have been a fun one, you know, to kind of as a throwback to when, you know,
feed my kids
that because didn't he answer that open challenge way back when? Those kinds of things. Like, I think all of those would have been more entertaining than just giving us a match that we've seen. I think someone said I think I saw it tweeted they had, like, this year alone, that those two have wrestled 15 times on pay-per-view and Raw.
Mackerel.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a little unnecessary.
Wow.
So
what can you not figure out?
So yeah, I enjoyed the match, but at a certain point when I see a match when I see them say, hey, we're going to this match that you've seen 15 times, I go like, what really are they gonna do in this match that's really gonna make it stand out from the others? It's really gonna make it where I have to go out of my way to watch this. There's a lot of wrestling every week. Like, you know, sometimes I go like, do I really care about seeing another match between these guys right now? They're not gonna do anything different. It's gonna be the same stuff that we've seen in all their matches.
They're not taking the belt off them.
No.
Yeah.
So and yeah, I will say there were moments where they did have near falls that got me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was just like, man, I've just seen this so many times. Like, give me something that doesn't make me feel like I'm just being fed the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
That's what bugs me.
I agree. Well, we got 5 minutes left in this, so we got to wrap this thing up. But the red lights is telling me.
There's no one in here till 2. We're fine.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look. Alexa Bliss hosted an open forum here with Sasha and Bayley. They'd kind of led up to this with Baron Corbin assigning Alexa Bliss in control of the women's locker room.
Did I not call that on the show a few weeks ago?
You did.
And that dawned on me while we were recording. They were going in that direction. I'm glad I called that one.
Man, I love Alexa Bliss. Anyway, so I like that she gets more screen time here. She's doing good work here. A little fun back and forth. She's maybe 1 or 2 years away in terms of maturity of being able to command these scenes.
I can see. Yeah, it's good.
You see, she's there on the precipice. But to command the scenes as a good actress and performer, she's not quite 100% there, but she's getting there, and she's still young. She's going to be a powerful force in this business, and don't be surprised if she's one of these people that moves on to do other things and is just as successful doing them outside of the business. She has a good... You see her kind of building as it goes along, and it's fun to watch. But yeah, her being in charge is cool. That weird kind of flirty thing with Corbin bothered me, but whatever. And then she comes out, brings out Sasha and Bayley, has an open forum, makes jokes around. They're kind of easier jokes, and she'll hone that as it goes along, like I said. But then, you know, she gets Sasha and Bayley get asked this thing. Then they like kind of attack her a little bit verbally, and then say Bayley does this. I'm gonna send you to hell, whatever that meant. Brother, don't do. And I don't know if we're gonna get kicked out, but like, I think Bayley's even over her own shtick. It's pretty clear that Bayley is done with it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Don't you? Like,
yeah, I think
the
you're
huggy,
right.
She's just like, hey, we got to do this. We got to like even the hug. She is done with it, man. She needs to move on. They got to figure out some other gimmick for her to do that isn't the huggies or whatever. Or, you know,
the huggies
or whatever they're called, the Bayley buddies, the Bayley buddies. They're just so annoying now and irritating, and it seems like a grade school thing in an adult situation.
Totally.
And it doesn't fit.
It's similar to like that meme of, or not meme, that scene where you see of Steve Buscemi where he's like, hey, how you doing, fellow kids, you know? It's very similar to that. Yes. Yeah, I agree with you. I for a long time I said like, oh, I'd be so stupid to turn Bayley, but at this point it's like, she looks over it.
I don't need her to turn, but a different kind of face.
I agree completely.
Like
I agree.
Cena changed from thugonomics to this to this to this. By the end, you know, he was a different thing. Hogan as well changed as a face. She has to change as a face.
Yeah, it hasn't really.
Clicking the buttons.
Well, it's never really caught on the main roster,
not on the main
in
roster.
a big way. Like obviously Bayley has fans,
right?
But I don't think it's ever caught on in a big way. And I agree with you. I think that a shift in her character would help her a lot.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shifts in the character, what was this all about with Dana Brooke coming out all of a sudden being a heel now?
It's literally like she's a female Big Show where she's like wherever they need her, they place her. It made no sense,
and she doesn't move the meter at all.
She teamed with them at Starrcade, which was the night before.
Yeah,
well, it was Saturday, but it aired on Sunday. Like it made no sense.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to dwell on it because I don't. Like, okay. We only have a few minutes, like you said, and I think everyone can collectively agree that this open forum was stupid.
It's very dumb.
Was very dumb. It pushed nothing.
Yeah.
It did nothing. It was maybe not as bad as This Is Your Life thing they did, but it was on that par. It was just stupid. It was just like, man, like, just give us something better.
Yeah.
Just give us something better, please.
Well, and that frustrates me because you see Sasha in the situation. But here's the deal, man, and this is something that occurred to me last night. Sasha hasn't gotten better on the mic. Sasha is what she is, but Sasha hasn't gone next level on the mic. She does the things that she does, and she's good at them, but she needs a next level. I
think it's because she's been a face this whole time, though.
Yeah?
Because I think if they let her go...
Because when she was healing NXT, she was great.
Yeah, because I think if they let her be cutthroat, still, she could be cutthroat.
Okay, fair. I want to see that eventually. A full breakup once and for all.
Me too.
And they don't come back together
None of
anymore.
Crap, beat up in the locker room, friends the next day crap.
None of that stuff. She's a great heel. Let her be a full heel. Don't put her in the Nia Jax spot.
Agreed.
Screw that Nia Jax.
Agreed.
Put her in that spot. All right, and then at the end, we faced off here. We had Baron Corbin taking on Drew McIntyre, blah, blah, blah. Or, I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor, blah, blah, blah.
No.
Boring.
Baron Corbin versus...
Oh, and McIntyre.
Versus Balor.
Versus Balor, right.
And then everyone came out and beat down Finn Balor. And they stood tall as the show closed. It was, I didn't care. I really was like, maybe if Finn had been positioned better, but it's not like Finn has been positioned as like this undefeatable force that they like. It was like a impressive thing to beat him down. It even drove me crazy that on commentary they said like this would be a huge win for Finn Balor if he could pull it off. Why? He's already beaten Baron Corbin. Yeah. He beat him in like really fast with the demon stuff on. Like, there's no reason for it to be a big. It doesn't even make sense that it would be a big deal to be Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin doesn't even win that often.
Corey Graves is doing the Lord's work.
Yeah,
on these terrible, terrible episodes of Raw. He's doing great stuff. I think Renee's gotten better a lot. Her rhythm, now she understands what her position is in the situation, and she's worked well with Cole.
She's picking her spots. Double Dutch status.
What did you think of them admitting that she's dating Ambrose?
I thought it was great they finally did that. Yeah. I thought it very much needed to happen. It was very necessary because it did make her look silly always being there. Be like, what's he doing? What is he doing? You're like, hey, you live with him. You tell us what he's doing, you know? Why are you acting so clueless about your own husband, for God's sakes? Right. You know, like if my girlfriend flipped out and was doing, I would know I had a little bit of insight as to what was going on. But I liked that she basically said like, hey man, I live with him and I don't get it.
I don't even know. Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was like
I liked her calling out Corey and Michael Cole on the who's the boss stuff. Judith Light and Tony Danza, and she's like, oh, you guys are great. You guys are really good at aging yourselves in those references. I thought it was brilliant. So if she keeps going that route, she's going to be fine. And her response to Corey right on the spot, really good improv, I hope it was improv because it looked really natural the way she did it. So I like that overall.
Okay, before we head out, because I know the light is on.
The light is on.
One constructive, because I said at the top, what's one constructive criticism thing that would help you enjoy the show more? That if you could.
It's tough because everything's tied into itself. You've got to remove Baron Corbin. Don't ever show me Stephanie ever on screen again, and bring me a really good, legitimate GM that you can believe can take control of the situation and tell people what to do and do whatever. Don't bring Hogan in. Don't bring like somebody else in. Stone Cold would be a fantastic GM to bring in and let him stay for a year because Stone Cold also contributes creatively and he has Vince's ear so he can play this game a certain way and have the bigger picture approach to it. I would love to see Stone Cold come on and be GM there. Not Foley. Foley was always okay as a GM. The Rock won't ever come back and do that, but certainly somebody who can come in, step in, has the respect of the locker room and the fans, and you can believe that at any moment he's going to make a decision. He or she will make a decision one way or the other.
Do you think Undertaker would be good in that role?
Oh man, that's
like American Badass Undertaker, like Mark Calloway, like as he is. Do you think that the character of the Undertaker is so protected that it wouldn't make sense?
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. It just wouldn't. He's never been involved in politics before, backstage politics. Why would he?
Well,
do
he was
that
always
now?
the locker room leader. He was in charge of
in real life,
wrestlers'
yes.
court.
In real life, yes. But that's like Andre the Giant. You wouldn't make Andre the Giant the GM of the. He would never do it. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, but I also don't think he was like Andre the Giant was like the same way on the microphone as Undertaker is. Like,
how dare you?
No, Undertaker. Obviously, Andre the Giant is one of the greatest of all time, but it's not like he was known for his promos or anything like that.
What are you talking about? That promo against Hogan was incredible.
You're talking about one promo.
I'm going here to challenge you for title.
You're talking about one promo,
and he probably said more words than Undertaker's ever said. Anyway, no, but you're right. Yeah, Mark is a great Undertaker.
But I see
that's my thing.
That's all right. Your thing. Right. Mine's a little more simple. Mine was really just utilizing the roster more
better,
better,
more effectively. You think,
and giving us matchups that are less that we don't see as often.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like I feel like the 3 matches we saw on Raw this week, if those 3 matches had been replaced by matches that we haven't necessarily seen 15 times or 8 times, that I think people would be a little more forgiving of the episode.
Yeah, understood.
So that's me.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That's our wrap up of Collider of Raw here on Collider Body Slam. I really appreciate you all watching. Ryan, want to tell them where to follow us? We got to get out of here.
At Wrestling Sheet, ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's where you can find everything going on with the website, where you can find all of our stories. You can go to YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet to find all of our videos. We finally got 7,000 subscribers now. Now we're on the path to 10,000. So I appreciate all of you guys who like the videos, who share the videos, who leave the comments. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. So please keep doing that. Please keep spreading the word. It helps us out a lot. And you can find me on social media at Ryan Satin.
You can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Everything Ryan said, I echo as well. Thanks, everybody, for the comments. Thank you for the tweets. I love talking with you guys about this kind of stuff. And we'll be back tomorrow with another Collider Body Slam Smackdown Live recap. And I imagine it'll be a better show.
Hopefully.
ProWrestlingSheet.com